Going on, Leroy?
Hello, hello.
Just hanging out. It's just me and a weird robot AI thing someone sent to do their bidding. So we're just hanging out in the call, man, and waiting for people to show up. So you are here. I don't think you've actually been on any of these calls before. I know we've done some big ones in the past with a lot of people, but you and I haven't met personally. So nice to meet you.
Yeah, no, I'm brand new, so it's trying to weave my way through and understand, the system and
Cool.
how to sell it, all that good stuff.
Cool. Well, then you're in the exact right place. This is why Beyond has Alex and I doing these calls to hopefully save you a lot of time and headaches and point you in the right direction. Tell me, do you have an idea of what you want to sell, an audience or industry you want to serve? Do you have any of that roughly in mind, or are you kind of putting that together also?
Well, yeah, so I do have a small agency, and we've been focused on the counseling and marriage counseling and therapy niches for the most part. I've got several clients in those niches, and then I've also got some tile repair and bathroom restoration type services.
So you're not at the beginning at all then. I misunderstood, I guess. So with a service as a software, you're saying that's going to be new for you, like Go High Level.
Go High Level, and yeah, so I purchased the ultimate Snapshot for the SaaS as well as the small business. So that's what I'm trying to understand what's in those packages, and especially on the small business package. How to use it, how to leverage it, how do I sell it?
Cool. Understood. What's up, Rico? Nice to see you, sir. Yeah. So the easiest way, honestly, Leroy, is always just to sell to the current people you're already working with. Do any of those industries that you're currently working with feel like a direction you want to head in?
Yeah. I mean, I've gone as far as I have one, I call it my beta client. So I've installed on her sub account the chat widget, and
Okay.
and so we're pulling in, and what was nice about it is there was traffic there she had no idea she could get, in terms of texting and people responding, or contacting her that way. So
Sure.
That's been a really big positive for her. So, and I was able to get her to give me a testimonial about the services. I provide SEO services as well for her. And so what I'm trying to look to do now is set up all of the intake forms so that they can go right into her customer contact profile on
Sure.
GHL, and then start looking at how she can add the current set of contacts that she has, or customers in some cases.
Sure.
And then start creating outreach campaigns and nurturing campaigns for those as well. So
Gotcha.
I'm coming along. It's the mechanics of the tool that's kind of getting in the way, and strategies.
Yeah, you're in the right place. So I'm excited to kind of share some thoughts with you. Hello, Lorenz. Also, I don't think I got a chance to meet you yet, but welcome to the call. Thanks for joining us. Rico might roll his eyes because he's heard this maybe a couple times on these past shows, but Leroy, I really want to encourage you to find someone in, say, the Go High Level Facebook group, or the the extendedly Facebook group that these calls are being hosted in. Find someone who does Go High Level setups already, right? Because what I really want you to avoid is trying to learn how to do all of the things. You want to know enough to be able to effectively sell it to your customers. I'll get to that in a moment. But really, like, in terms of fulfilling the product, the best that you can piece together, and by piece together, really probably you're going to need technical support, which is Extendly. They're a great tool for that and platform for like supporting customers on the platform, answering your questions also. And two, the person who actually builds the setup for whatever you need, right? Like, hey, I've got these tile repair companies. I need you to build out a Go High Level setup. But there's a fine balance of you wanting to understand it, but you don't need to know the intricacies of how to do it or build it, because what happens is you get stuck in fulfillment, and it makes it very difficult to get more than a couple of clients because you're trying to figure out how it works for all of them. You're honestly in a really good spot because you have clients already. So you're doing the exact right thing right now. Work with clients who already like the services you have, see what features of Go High Level serve them best. And then once you kind of identify like, hey, here's the top 3 features of Go High Level we're going to focus on and sell to this industry. Cool. Let's find an individual who, as you sell that individual can fulfill that. They can build it and then extendedly does the support. But where I want to encourage everyone here listening, if you maybe feel this before, don't stay stuck in fulfillment. This is classic with agencies. And I'll maybe make my point with a very quick story. I used to sell iPhone apps, and I tried to learn how to develop iPhone apps myself instead of going to a developer and having them build it after I sold it. I spent probably a year learning how to do it and didn't really make any money during that point. And then when I finally sold it, I was doing all the work. I had like 2 clients at any given time, and I wasn't making really any money. I was just doing all the work. So there's a fine balance of like knowing enough, but not being the person who has to do the fulfillment work yourself. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And that's why I connected with, Extendly, because I really don't want to.
Yeah. So let me help you. Okay, can I add one more thing? I apologize for cutting you off.
No, go ahead. No.
Cool. So this is really important. I mentioned like focusing on the 2 or 3 features, right? It's really important that you keep your offer simple, because I think a deadly mistake a lot of people in SaaS make is they try and sell all of the features at a low price. Like, hey, you get all of these things for like $99 a month. And what it really does is confusing the person, and they're not really sure what to get out of it, right? Versus like, let's hone in on 2 to 3 key features my offer will have, and let's sell that. So here's an example. The text texting missed calls, right? There's a feature in Go High Level where they'll text missed calls. That feature by itself is an offer, is a business, is a $300 a month offer you could sell, right? People are trying to like throw that into the value stack of everything else, and it gets buried. That's one of the most valuable things. I would say automatic email nurturing responses, et cetera. If you had something nicely built out, you're getting paying for that. You could pay for that in the Go High Level community. That could be easily resold for $200, $300 a month, right? Just by themselves. So really try for your offer to focus on the value that it brings the customer, not the features that it has inside of it. I'm going to show you guys a really useful tool. My business partner, Alex Schlinsky, is speaking at the Go High Level Summit in June. We'll both be out there in Texas hanging out. If you guys want to come out and hang out, meet us, we'll be there. We're not that cool, but Alex is a smart guy. He's going to share some cool stuff. But why I'm sharing this is I'm kind of like, it was funny. He got the credit, but that's okay. I want to help him out, elevate him, because that helps the company. So he used this tool that I built. I built this in like 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. I'm not a Sheets guy or a Google Sheets guy. I'm not an Excel like wizard. I barely passed algebra in high school. Like, I'm not that good at math. What I'm getting at here is we shared this calculator. It's essentially a Go High Level missed call text back revenue calculator. And I'm going to zoom in here real quick. And we had a couple of different examples, right? We had a women's hair salon, we had a roofing company, we had a gym, we had upscale landscaping. And so what this is doing in this really simple calculation is showing someone like, hey, if I'm talking to, and by the way, the point of telling you about Alex speaking on stage is we leverage this to send to Go High Level to say, hey, let us cover this at the event and show people how easy it is to price based on value and sell this type of thing. So anyways, you guys, and I will share this with you right now, plug in for your industry. Like if you were going to sell Go High Level SaaS, only the missed call text back feature, or prove to someone on a sales call, like, hey, this one feature alone will make you money. This is kind of how you can do it, right? So let's say the average client value for this upscale landscaping company is $4,000, right? They do a bunch of cool landscaping stuff to people's homes, not like just mowing their lawn. And let's say on average, they miss 10 calls per month, and they'll close at about a 5% rate. I'm going to make this actually a 10% rate. I think that makes a little more sense here. I don't want them to close half a client if they're only getting 10 calls. I can also reverse that. I'll just say it's 20 missed calls and they close at 5%. Cool. So let's say that's one call they will essentially close from this. And so that means if they get one deal out of the 20 calls they miss, they're going to make $4,000, right? Pretty simple math. But the point of this is, hey, look, our SaaS, our software is only $297 a month, and your potential ROI on that, one missed deal is 1,300%. Like, this is an absolute no-brainer. And so this is, again, how you get away from pricing based on all this crazy stuff that you have to manage, these emails and these forms and this thing and no, just focus on a couple of really high value features, prove it through like a simple ROI calculation like this. And that's how I would do it. We run an extremely successful coaching company, and I am very tempted to sell that on the side. And I don't really need to, but like, it's such a sexy, appealing thing that I could probably, I'm going to give you guys something else. I know Rico, again, thanks for bearing with me on a couple of these things you may have seen. This framework we've been teaching used to be called Trojan Horse, but that's got a negative connotation. This is called Love It or Leave It. It's the same idea, but bear with me. The idea is, if I were going to be selling this software, and I have a little bit of patience because, you know, whatever other income I'm making, I'm running POD, but for you guys, it could be a job, maybe it's your agency, whatever. I would get really aggressive to get SaaS customers, right? I'd send something like, hey, I love what I'm seeing online about Bob's premier landscaping business. We're currently looking for some experienced partners in the landscaping space. We can provide customers on a commission pay per result only basis, and we only profit when you do. Would you be open to discussing this? And so the idea is you have a really exciting, interesting hook. And how you do this is really more in the frame of an agency, could work perfectly the same for SaaS. When you get on a sales call, go through your normal pitch, and then when it gets to how they can work with you, instead of charging them on a per month basis, you charge a setup fee for the first 2 months. Ideally, that setup fee covers all of your fulfillment costs, maybe a little bit more. So like Leroy, if you hired a guy to set up the funnel for you and it cost you $500, hosting costs you $100 a month, cool, you charge $800 or $1,000 for your setup fee. And then in those first 2 months, you only take either agreed upon pay per lead or appointment or a percentage of sales. And the idea is at that third month, and this is agreed upon on the sales call, it's all up front. You don't wait till the very end of the relationship when they're about to convert. Then at that third month, when they're happy with the service, you move them to whatever the thing is, $300 a month. Great. But this is a really aggressive, and when I say aggressive, I would say not in a negative way, fast hitting strategy. If you have a little bit of patience to sign people up on your SaaS, if they're skeptical, get them on board, show them the value, like, hey, this is going to text your missed callbacks and save you business. But once they see I can't live without this, they pay you the $300 a month. This is optional. And some of you, I would not use this unless you really need to kind of make some noise. If you already have established customers or lead flow, like you don't have to really worry about this. You can also use it as a tool to get someone who's on a sales call off the fence and get them to like, hey, let's do a love it or leave it, where I'll give you only a setup fee, no recurring cost. I'll only take a small percentage of your sales, and then we'll move to the normal rate if you love it after 2 months. So it's a really effective frame because especially this part, you are sending a message when you're doing outbound prospecting that's going to get attention. People are going to perk up when they see this. They go, oh yeah, I'm sure, hell yeah, I would do that. 2 exceptions. You got to make sure that you're actually delivering a good service and you get the result, or they're not going to retain. And then you got to make sure that they can actually afford it after the fact. A business who's like, I need this to make me money right now, or I can't afford to keep paying you. That's not typically a good look either.
Right.
So
right.
Threw a lot at you guys right there. I'm going to take a deep breath and shut up for a second. Yes, Phil, I will share these documents with everyone. No problem. But yeah, guys, these are the kinds of, and I'm just, we're talking in kind of generalities right now, but these are the type of things that go through my brain as I'm putting together an offer, initiating outreach for that offer, trying to price on value and not do a whole bunch of stuff and do all the fulfillment myself. And then getting on a sales call and leveraging, like I just showed you guys, that calculator to show them like, look, you may think $300 a month is a lot, but when you show me what your average client value is, based on how many missed calls you're getting, this makes sense. And I'll give you guys a couple more examples just to drive the point home. Let's say like a gym, right? Their average client value is only, this is probably not the best example. I think Alex screwed with this example. I'm going to jump up to this one. So like a woman's hair salon, right? Let's say they charge $350 per cut. I'll even lower this, right? Let's do 300. I should have made this a copy link. I apologize. I'm going to actually duplicate this. You guys can just make a copy. That would be really helpful. I'm going to make a copy just in case this gets a little screwed up. That was my bad. No big deal. I got plenty of these calculators. So the idea though is, let me zoom in again. Women's hair salon, let's say they miss 40 calls a month, right? And they close at about a 20% rate, do 0.20. That was, nope, that's not 20%, that is 0.2%. And so they're potentially leaving $2,400 a month on the table, right? So not an astronomical amount of money, but if they're running a hair salon and you're only charging, let's say, even if it's $190 or let's say $250 a month, they're still making almost a 1,000% ROI on this, right? So plug in your client's numbers here, and this is a very effective tool for getting on sales calls and proving the value and not selling on stuff. So sorry, Leroy, I threw a lot at you right there. I maybe answered some questions you didn't even ask. Any takeaways or follow-up questions you have about that?
No, that resonates really well. I mean, I'm thinking of like the, my tile repair company and the whole notion of sharing the leads, or, giving them leads on a trial basis, the first 2 or 3 free or something like that, or the discount, and to prove out my services and then upsell.
Sure.
Is that kind of
yeah, that's the idea, but the key is to charge a setup fee. And ideally, that setup fee is covering any fulfillment costs you may incur. So I'll give you an example in the agency space. It's a little easier to understand. If I was 18 years old and living with my parents and didn't have any really bills, and I was going to start an agency and I had patience, right? I could be really patient because I didn't really need to have money right now. Also, if you're in a position where you need to have money right now, I'm going to argue it's not sexy advice, but I'll probably get a job. That's a whole other side note. You can build your side hustle, but don't don't kill yourself trying not to. That's not going to apply to everyone here, but just food for thought. If I was 18 and I was patient, I had the patience, I know right now that Invisible PPC, they're a white label service provider for Google Ads. They charge $500 per month. If I had no clients and no experience, and I was really trying to get people to sign up, I would use that approach that I just showed you guys. I would tell them hey, I'll do this on a commission only basis for the first 2 months. Then after that, if you like it, I'm going to charge you $2,000 a month. And so I get them on a call, and now I say, hey, look, so I need to get my team paid to do the work for you. It's $1,000 for a setup fee. That $1,000 splits out to be that $500 per month for my white label partner. I'm not making any money. The $500 first month, fulfillment partner, $500 second month, fulfillment partner. But I now earned the chance and the opportunity to prove to this business that Invisible PPC, which is really damn good, gets good results. Now in my 3rd month, they're paying me $2,000 a month. Invisible PPC gets their $500. I am profiting now $1,500 a month from this client because they're now on the retainer model, because I proved to them the value. Now, if I'm in a place where I need some money right now, let's just play that example out, I would pad that setup fee a little bit, call a setup fee $2,000, and now you get $1,000 over 2 months. It's not amazing. It's something for your time. But it also, again, enables you to get the client in the first place, to get their interest and get them to sign up for a new thing that may be untested. But anyone here who's got past clients, current clients, past leads, et cetera, connections to a space, always start there. We call it the know, trust factor. When people like you, know you, and trust you, that overcomes so many other things. So work with people already who you're connected to. Once you kind of hone in what that value is, then you can go sell it in more mass to other people, kind of using the formats I was talking about.
Right. And the other angle I'm using too is the referral angle, to try and like she gave me a testimonial, and I'm trying to get some referrals, and it makes the pitch a lot easier too, because you're going in and trusted.
I think the challenge with referrals is referrals are the best worst opportunity. Let me explain why. They're the best because they're the easiest to close and sometimes great clients. They're the worst because they're not consistent enough to really grow a business, right? If we want to really grow to a certain number, waiting for clients to refer us can be dangerous. And also really to fight on both sides of this, because I do agree it's super important. If you're in the attorney space, it's invaluable. You have to get in, you have to find your in somewhere. Then the referrals become infinitely valuable. I would argue, Leroy, and I'm really glad you brought this up, not just referrals, but establishing referral partners, especially if you're selling a lower ticket SaaS. So what that looks like for you, Leroy, if you wanted to go work with tile repair companies, I would go find local flooring associations. I'd probably start in your state, and then you can go outside of that, but go look for niche groups and associations that you can add value to, and it puts you in a position, I call this fishing, where you go to the pond that you know your customers are going to be swimming in, and now you have a referral partner established. Another example of this is complementary service providers. So if I were selling marketing services to med spas, as an example, I might go find the person who sells medical equipment to med spas, right? So I had a client, she ran an extremely successful company in med spas, in the med spa space, because one of her connections and referral partners sold cool sculpting machines, right? Whatever the thing that people use to suck fat off. I don't know how it works, but her partner, her referral partner, had dozens and dozens of clinics all across the country. They didn't sell a competing product. It was a complementary product, sort of. And so they were like, hey, we want our customers to be successful with our product and sell more cool sculpting. I will refer you to all of our clients. And then she exploded her business. I have a couple of other examples in the dentist space where another client of mine did the same thing, but I won't bore you with all of the examples. I think the idea speaks for itself. Is like, find someone who can consistently send you referrals because they have access to that customer list already. And sometimes you can just make them a deal, right? Like, hey, I'll give you 10% for life of anyone who signs up with me. It's not amazing, but if you send me 20 people, that's your car payment for the rest of your life. Like, that's easy math for them. If you're charging $300 a month and they get 10%, that's $30, and they send you 20 people, that's $600 a month. There's your new BMW you can go lease, right? Like, it's not amazing money, but it's something. And I think it also motivates people to send the referrals once you have the connection. Good. Anyways, probably covering a lot of topics. I get excited about this stuff. So anyone else here hanging out? I know Lorenz, you stepped away for a second. Philip, I see you hanging out in the comments. Leroy, you as well. Anyone else? Shakira, I hope it's the real Shakira. I'm sure that's correct, right? You're the real Shakira. Like,
I wish.
I mean, you are a Shakira, so that's a pretty cool name. Nice to meet you as well. Anyone want to just open the mic since I have you here? Any questions, Shakira, you have for us, or you're hanging out, listening? What's going on?
Well, I'm hanging out. This is the first call I'm on, and I made my first call to you know how you said start where you know people? Good. And I made like 5 minutes before I got on this call. I mean, I had been pushing it for so long. I was like, you know what? Kick yourself and do what you got to do. Yeah. So I made the call, and I was, jitters everywhere, but I got through it. But my main thing is this. I keep feeling like GoHighLevel is out there. Maybe I'm just the one that knows about it. Like you said, just try and just focus on 2, 3, or 4 features instead of being all over the place, right? Yeah. Now, my main thing is, how do you really sell it when it comes to, you're going to people do you first put a demo in place of how GoHighLevel works, or do you know people who have demo videos that we could use? Or do you go on a call with like an association? Because the group that I'm targeting right now, it's an association and they have events where it could possibly come demo, right? But if you look like a one-man business, sometimes they want to, you have to feel like you need to have a group sometimes, or maybe just one person doing the demo. So it's not just you. So do you have like demo videos we could use, or do you have people we could try and hire to do the demo videos? What do you recommend that when we go to associations, we show them? Is it a demo video, a presentation, or us actually going through HighLevel?
Sure. Great question. Excellent question. I would say having a demo video is helpful. What, again, I think you want to make sure it focuses on is the end result you're creating for the client, the benefits and the outcomes, not the individual features. You can talk about what some of those features are, but I think, like, first of all, let me ask this, Shakira. How many people do you have on your platform? No one yet? Or are you kind of just starting out, which is fine?
I'm just starting out. Like, cool.
Okay. So demo video is like, it's helpful in the selling process, but truly you don't really need it right now. You just need conversations with individuals, right? Now, and what I mean by that is I want you to, this is how I have done it essentially. You want to pre-sell your product before you go build it out too much. And you do that by getting people's feedback. And then when you feel like after that's feedback, it's like, hey, they'd be a good fit for this, you put them on a VIP list. So it looks something like this. And let's put on the shelf for a second the association. I'll talk about that in just a moment.
Okay.
But the general approach that I do here would be, as I'm getting conversations, I would approach those conversations and frame those conversations to the people I'm having as, hey, I'm looking for feedback because I'm building out something I think could be really valuable for X business, right? Salons, etc. Would you be open to giving me some feedback? In exchange, I'd be happy to support and refer you in any way I can. So really friendly ask. And it's also an easy ask for you to get referrals from people you know. Because now when you're asking your cousin, like they don't have to say, hey, can I sell your friend who owns that salon? It's like, hey, I'm actually looking to get some feedback. I know your friend runs a salon. Would you be mind putting us in touch so I can ask them a couple questions? So it's a very easy, natural ask to get someone to refer you and to get someone's time under that guise of feedback. Now, on that call, you're really looking for, I call it really the 4 W's, I guess. Where are they at now? Where do they want to go? What are the challenges and gaps? And like, what is the urgency? And then really what you're looking for, and you may already know this intuitively, kind of based on your knowledge at Go High Level, but you want them to tell you of what they're struggling with, what they need. Like, how are they managing? And you can guide this conversation based on kind of what you know you want to sell. Like we talked about the text callback feature. Hey, how are you managing missed calls? Hey, how are you messaging new leads that come through your system? Oh, you're not doing anything? And so as you start to uncover this and they're explaining you the pain, you get to the end of the conversation, you might not necessarily have an offer yet. What you do is you say, hey, this actually sounds like exactly what we're putting together here. Would you be cool if I put you on a VIP list of people I can circle back with in 10 days, 2 weeks, and get you and show you what we actually have in place for this? Cool, excellent, schedule the call. And now the intention here is you're building this list of interested people who have problems, who have the trust in you in the conversation, and you're going to come back to them with some kind of offer. You could, depending on your experience level, Shakira, and your knowledge of GHL, just kind of package together and compile an offer right now and go start trying to sell it. But if that's not quite there yet, the power of just that conversation to see where they need help and how you can plug in is invaluable. Really, you don't need a demo video right now. Would it be helpful? Yes, but you're not selling based on other people having demo videos. You're selling based on trust, relationships, and talking to people right now because you don't really have much else to lean on. That is what you have to lean on, is the know, like, trust factor. Once we have some established proof and customers on this platform and hey, it works, cool. Now we can go easily sell those results, easily, air quotes, to strangers who don't know us, right? But I also think to kind of attach this to groups and associations, those are a great place to go in mass, source feedback, a lot of feedback at one time, right? It's a fantastic way to do that. So I'm going to pause there for just a second before I tell you about my feedback or my ideas on associations. Okay. Any questions or comments about what I just shared? Did that make sense?
So the industry that I'm starting with is an industry that I just pivoted from. So I know it like the back of my hands, and I have already identified.
Tell me what it is.
I had. So it's tax resolution. So I'm a CPA, and we do, we help people negotiate with the IRS, basically. So a lot of times we don't follow up enough on the leads. We miss a lot of leads. You know what I'm saying? So basically,
yes, I do. I have comments, but continue.
Okay. So I went to the association that, I used to be a member of, and I'm like, okay, for so reasons, I'm pivoting, and I really need you guys' support. I would love to show you a demo of what I've created. The first call was receptive, but I was like, okay, I'll send you an email with a demo. But I also want their feedback to tell me what it is that they feel like it is sell, to feel like we'll sell. So that's where I am right now. So it's kind of like an industry where I already know the pain points. Good. And I went to the group chat on Facebook, and I Googled CRM, where you put in the search box CRM, and a lot of people were watching things together, and so that's why I know what the pain points are, but I would appreciate feedback too.
Yeah, well, is this an association that's only for CPAs?
CPAs and EA.
Okay, so it was a pretty specific group, right?
Oh yeah, very niche.
Okay, cool, got it. So again, where the challenge may have lied in is maybe you were getting in there and you're selling based on features and the stuff, right? Versus specifically what it's going to do for them and speaking to the outcome, like nurturing leads and following up with leads better. Because I know from experience in all the clients we've worked with, credit repair space, tax repair, whatever the niche name is, again, I apologize, repair space is super challenging to get leads on the phone because they're getting hounded, right, by credit card companies and collectors, and like they are not picking up the phone. So you really have to have a really good mechanism for automating immediately text message sequence of some kind that can communicate with them right as they're signing up, striking while the iron is hot, because you lose them and the wave of all of their chaos of all people that are trying to follow up with them and get them to pay their bills, right? So again, why I think, sorry, I'm gonna close my window real quick, got a little noisy outside. Why, even though you may understand and know the pain points of this industry, kind of like I just shared, and you know it much better than I do, I'm sure. Why it is still important to go do calls with individuals and get them to express it to you is because it's a difference between a prescription and a pitch. A pitch is where just because you have someone's time, you're going to tell them all about your thing and why it's cool and why they should do it. A prescription is you're going to listen to someone's needs and then you're going to tell them, hey, based on what you just told me, this is the thing you should do that'll solve that. And that might just, if that's your software, great. If it's not, and they need to be referred outside, like, you do that too. You do right by someone, but that's the difference, right? What probably happened when you're making this presentation is you're not really speaking the language of what they're looking for in terms of the clear benefit out of it, because you haven't really talked to them individually yet to tell you. I really truly believe you have to learn to sell whatever product, even if you're great and you have a background in sales and you have past experience. For new products, you really need to sell one-to-one and learn how to sell it one-to-one before you can sell it one-to-many in a presentation format. But again, leaning on and leveraging this group or association for the connections, people you know there, to get one-on-one phone calls with individuals is still key and critical, and I would do that, right? And by the way, a really important thing you can kind of use is, if you don't like the feedback angles, maybe not the way you want to necessarily go because you already know roughly what you want to sell to them, you can offer the people in this group or association. I call it selling your sales call. It's by you give your sales call a name, right? So maybe it's a lead follow-up assessment, right? Hey, would you guys be open to me doing a lead follow-up assessment for you, where I can take a look at your current lead follow-up process and give you ideas on how to improve that? And now there's a carrot, there's something valuable that they're going to get in exchange for giving you their time to show up, right? So you can show them how to do it, and then you give them like basically the 3-option close. Hey, you can do this on your own, you can pay me to do it, or you can do nothing at all and nothing changes and maybe go backwards a little bit. But again, the frame of not just, hey, can I do a demo of no one wants a demo, no one wants a consultation. They want something value driven. Their time is valuable, right? So this concept of sell your sales call is name the sales call something valuable, ideally the outcome they're going to get from giving you some of their time, and then fulfill on that, right? You don't have to do coaching. You just show them, hey, here's how you do this. So if you already know the pain point and they are struggling with that, this is a really great carrot you can use in this group or association to get one-on-one phone calls with the members. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. So Don't go at it from a perspective of, I already know what you need. Go at it from okay, let's figure out what you really need and let me sell you, right?
Yeah, because even if you know what they need, right? Like we've sold our coaching program to hundreds of agencies at this point. We still get on a sales call unless someone knows they want to buy. I'd say like 1 in 10 people come on the call and they just want to buy it because they know what it is. They've heard about it. Like, I want this. Okay, cool. It's great. We'd love to make sure they're a fit and then sign them up. But most people, they want to be told it's the right fit for them. A lot of people, unfortunately, think their business is unique. I'm a snowflake, when a lot of times the reality it's not, but they still want to feel that you heard what their pain points are. So it's a prescription. Again, I use a silly metaphor of like, if you went to the doctor's office and you sat there, waited an hour, guy shows up, throws some pills at you and say, I think you take those, good luck, goodbye. Like, that's a pitch. He just pitched pills at you literally and said good luck, versus the doctor. It's like, hey, where does it hurt? Where's the pain? Okay, cool. Based on what you just told me, this is the prescription plan I'm going to recommend. And it's the same thing you do on a sales call, right? And it really puts people in the position of making a decision based on what's best for them, not because you think your product's cool or they need it.
Okay. Makes a lot of sense. Thank you. I was kind of thrown by what you were saying before on what you were explaining to Leroy. I was like, okay, I'm trying to catch up here, but I really don't understand.
You're good. That's what we're here for, right? This is exactly what Beyond's got us doing these calls for. No bad, dumb questions, nothing wrong here.
So what perspective was that from? Is it when you're trying to meet an association of people or just individuals?
Yeah, so that was from the great. Yeah, so I'm going to connect to the associations now. This is just in general how I would approach individual phone calls when I have someone on the call. Again, those 4 W's, right? Where are you now? Where do you want to go? What's the gap? Like, what are the challenges and how urgent is this issue? Those will really give you insight. And again, you ask those questions, kind of direct them based on what you know you want to sell them. So if we're selling lead follow-up systems, those are the kind of questions we're going to be asking, right? Hey, what's your lead follow-up systems look like right now? In a perfect world, what would they look like? What are the challenges you're having? How urgent is this issue? Okay, cool. We can help you. Would you be cool if I shared with you what we do? I think it would be the right fit for you. Awesome. Now here's me showing you what we can do for you part. Okay. So that's to individuals. Now, I'm sorry, to now connect it to associations. This is key. You already have access to some associations. So I would just bluntly be asking for direct referrals in there. You can still use the feedback angle. I still think it's a really valuable thing you can kind of leverage, especially, or even if you know them, it's still just, it puts them at ease, right? Now they're not afraid of being sold. It's, hey, I'm just giving someone else in the community some feedback. I'm open to doing that. Cool. Or again, if you're giving them value, the carrot could be some sort of assessment or audit. But how I approach associations that I've had no interaction with before is there's three doors, right? Door number 1 is they are just become a strategic partner or referral partner and send me business. This is not super common. This is probably more like, 5-10% of the groups and associations will be like, oh my gosh, Sakira, this is just what our customer or our association is asking for. I'm going to start referring you to people right now. That's typically going to be a referral partner, like I shared earlier, like a complementary service provider or someone else who already has a group of those customers who you could also plug into. Maybe some associations will do that. Not many, not often though. So maybe though. So that's number 1. Number 2 is what I call a content partnership. This is usually my favorite one, my go-to, is where I'm going to go provide some kind of value in the form of content to their community, right? Hey, can I show your community how to do blank? And this could be something you can do for free over a Zoom call they host every week. This could be something they want you to do in person. This could be something they maybe, and this is down the road, you pay a sponsorship to go do. Sponsorships are one of the most powerful ways to get new customers. Where you sponsor either a session at an in-person event or online. That would be door number 2, is you providing some sort of value to the community in exchange for time, where at the end of that, you get to say, hey, if you guys are interested, here's what we do. Talk to me if you want to learn more. And then the third door, this is really, I save this in reserve if someone is really hard to get access to because it's the most time consuming, but it's called the interview offer. And I would offer to interview the leader of that community. So the president of the association, let's say it's the, I live in Detroit, so Detroit CPA Association. And then we're going to offer that person, hey, would you be open to being featured in an interview series we're putting together to talk about interesting leaders in the CPA space? And now you have this person's time, interview them, and we can talk about the logistics of what that looks like later if you really want to leverage this. But now you have kind of this token in exchange of, hey, Bob, thank you so much for doing that interview with me. If you're open to it, I'd love to be able to give back to your community. What would it look like to get involved? And either do a presentation or get referred to your members, blah, blah, blah. You basically now, through the third door, can leverage the other 2 after you kind of have that favor, that ask you can use.
Okay, that makes sense. So for the third one, that'll be if you already have a platform where you're going to host the interview.
Yes, great point. So here's how I do this. There's one of 2 ways. Sometimes I will tell them, hey, I'm putting together an interview series and we're going to be publishing our top ones. And then you just don't publish it. I don't love that, but that's one way. Second way is I'm going to just give you the interview offer SOP. It's going to be way easier than me trying to explain every step. But essentially what I do is say, hey, we're going to post it to our communities, but we're also going to post it to some high traffic websites like medium.com. So when people search top CPA associations in the area, you guys are going to rank higher there. So you're kind of leveraging the clout of another platform you would put it on to get them SEO value. It's not perfect, but sometimes, by the way, honestly, Shakira, people have big egos. They love talking about themselves anyways. They may not even ask, right? Cool. Yeah, I'd love to do an interview and talk about what we do. They may never even ask. Now, but we can kind of leverage, again, another website. Like we use Medium as the example because it's kind of a gray area people don't fully understand. And if you post the video there, it says top CPA association in Detroit, Michigan, and that's SEO value. Now when people search CPA Association Detroit, you guys are going to rank higher. It's going to be more SEO value and juice. So I just dropped you the SOP we referenced in this. You kind of go through that. I'm going to do you one better also, because I feel like the training I did on this in detail is going to explain it better than I am doing right now. So, but again, I really want to encourage you to don't get too distracted by this one. It's time consuming and you do kind of need a platform, but I would just save this in reserve. Honestly, it works best if you're also going to do a Facebook group as part of your lead gen. But you're not quite there yet. So I wouldn't stress on it too much.
Okay. So right now I'm going after that association, but I also feel like I don't want to put my eggs in one basket. So of course I like the association thing because I'm not big on marketing, but I know I have to get through marketing to be able to get where I need to go. So I'm trying to do the one to many. Okay. I've sold before. I've sold a lot of things, but not this particular product. Right. So that's why I understand when you say, okay, you need to sell it individually first. So right now I'm using, I feel like I hear you. Maybe I need to find little small businesses that I need to sell to first and iron out.
Let me clarify though, because it's really important. When I say learn to sell one-to-one first before selling one-to-many has kind of two meanings. One, there's a one-to-many format where you're going to sell on a webinar or a presentation to a group of people at one time. That's a format I wouldn't say you are quite ready for, but the version of this where you could sell one-to-many is still go access a group or association, because now they have many people in one place, and you can value individual conversations from that pond, right? Like I call it fishing, and like where hunting is one-to-one prospecting, fishing is go find the pond, you know the fish are you want to catch, groups, associations, referral partners, and go partner with them, cut a deal, some kind of agreement to get them to send you people. And again, for send you people, that can be one-on-one selling and conversations, just in a format where you went to a place where you can sell one-to-many in the spectrum. It's just not all at once on a webinar, one training, that you're trying to sell the product through a landing page or a demo video. It's very, very hard to do that at first with a new product.
I hear you. And actually these all have, I see what you're saying. They all have live events, or they all have webinars. So I was trying to see if I could plug into those, but you're saying go to the group.
Don't do it yet.
Okay.
You have to know exactly what you're selling first before you can really sell it in a format where you wouldn't talk to an individual. I got this wrong too. I believe that when I make more courses and less coaching, I can put up a landing page and do a webinar and people are just going to buy it and put some money in track. Like it's not that easy, especially with something new without, frankly, a year plus of social proof and really solid results. It's really hard to sell without actually getting onto a call with someone.
So you're saying, okay, so let me understand this. Don't do the events, but ask them for who can they refer to me. That's what I should ask for. And then they get a percentage of it.
Yeah, that would be a way for sure. Now, if they're just only option available to you is, hey, look, I don't really refer directly to people, but if you want to do a presentation and add some value to an upcoming event, like take it. I'm not going to tell you don't do that, because again, that's stage time. Let's just say you do get on stage or even a Zoom call, and you add value, do a webinar or whatever, and you do make a rough, soft offer to everyone. Cool. That's okay. You can still do that now, but this is the key. Don't expect that to do the heavy lifting of selling for you at this stage. You need to be diligent about reaching out to every single individual who showed up at that Zoom call, as many of the attendees as you can. Hey, what do you think about that presentation? Is this something you need? You have to still go initiate, even if you were in the one-to-many setting, you go initiate the one-to-one sales conversations. And then again, when you really dial in your messaging and the value proposition and the price and all of those key elements and testimonials, proof, results, cool. Now we can go sell it in a format maybe where you don't really have to be involved in the sales process. I think a lot of people get pie in the sky ideas about SaaS at first because they think they can just sell it without actually having to sell it. And that's not the case, which is typically why we recommend always having a high ticket service as well, like an agency service. It'll get you to those revenue numbers quicker, which gives you the time, financial freedom to now pursue SaaS, which you have to, again, you're going to do more. It's just a math equation, right? If you're selling at $300 versus $3,000, you need a lot more clients. And if you have to sell both of those offers, new offers, one-to-one at first, I would sell the high ticket thing first, personally. But you, again, Shakira, exception, have built an audience, customers, people you know already, past experience in the space. So you can tap into that and get a lot of people kind of bought into your platform sooner.
That makes sense. So would you say do a high ticket for the association and then they get a percentage of the commission to start with, or no?
Yeah, so it depends on, by the way, I wouldn't pay them a commission unless you need to use that as a token to get them over the edge. Depending on the relationship, they just may want to do right by you and help you, right? Like you can use it as a carrot. Like if they're like, no, we don't really want to free. Like, what if I gave you guys 10% of whatever, right? I wouldn't lead with that. See if they would do it for free always first, because they might just like, cool, yeah, Shakira, I'd love to send this to people, and I don't want a commission. Like they might not even bring it up. So that I would say that, but selling high ticket marketing service versus SaaS, how the referral structures are always a bit different. With SaaS, because the margins are better, you can typically get away with giving someone probably 20% is aggressive for life. I would say you can give someone 10% of someone's contract for life, or maybe 20% of the first 3 months. Like I would probably keep it in that neighborhood with SaaS. Agency stuff, though, it's more like 10, 15% of only the first month, not for life, because it's a much higher ticket, right? And there's always exceptions to this rule where if you found a really, really good referral partner who's sending you like 10 clients a month, maybe they get a little extra, right? For after every 10 people, now they get 18% instead of 15%. So, but that would be, everything's negotiable, right? That would be if they're really willing to push people your way. And again, I would only use this as a negotiating token or tactic if you have to. Don't bring it up first.
Yeah, that's where I put my foot in my mouth. So, okay, you live and you learn, don't you?
That's okay. We're learning, right? And I think, again, like just letting people tell, even though I'm the one who's been doing so much talking here, is let people do the talking. Like just ask them the questions that lead them to their own conclusions about, hey, I need this because my lead follow-up sucks. Makes a big difference, right? Because when you get, when I sell iPhone apps, I get super excited. Like, this is what we do. This is what we sell. Here's all the features, blah, blah. What do you think? Do you want to buy it? Instead of just talking to the person and really figuring out what they're looking for. It actually works sometimes, which, reinforced a bad habit, but it's okay. I was young and we learned, so.
Right. Okay. Thank you. I like the lead follow-up assessment strategy. So I'll see how I can make that work for the people in the group,
Reach out. And really, Shakira, too, my not last piece of advice, but if you want to ask any more questions, Lee, where you as well, you're good. One more piece of advice on this. Depending on how quickly and aggressively you want to make this happen, and I use aggressively, like I'm talking about condensing the time frame. Like you have a goal of X financial milestone, cool. How we condense that is what you said you did earlier, and picking up the phone. It's the one thing that can never be shut down unless you somehow lose your phone or whatever. It's like Facebook can't shut you down, LinkedIn can't shut you down. You're not going to lose your email. Like you can, if you call the people in your association today and tomorrow, and you say, "Hey, this is Shakira from this blah blah association. I was reaching out to some of our members just to see if I could offer them this lead follow-up assessment, some value I'm going to get back to the community, just to connect and meet more people. Would you be open and interested to that?" Like, that will get you sales calls and conversations booked for next week, right? Like you just have to be willing to step into that uncomfortable and do it. if you want any motivation or like exact, it's not steps necessarily, I can give you our warm call frames. I have no problem doing that. I was going to give you some examples as well, but give me a second.
Okay.
We have a really excellent, I'm going to actually give you some.
While you're showing me that, I need to get permission from the people, the group itself, to say I'm going to be reaching out to these people. Is that okay? Versus me just reaching out.
So again, it all depends on the context. If you feel like you have to do that, then I'd go to get that permission. Sometimes it depends on, like, you may just have the grace to do that depending on who you know there, right? So you really have to judge that for yourself. I don't know the relationship you have with that association. I'm going to send you this document.
Thank you.
If you scroll down, it will show you our frames, the script for warm calls, if you will. But more important than that, if you want to see how me and my business partner do this, we have some silly content. If you go to this Facebook group, I'm going to drop it here in the chat. And you go search in this Facebook group, there's two phrases. There's actually three, but hot wing hotline and cold call shotline. We do this silly thing where we call our clients' leads for them. And depending on the show format, we will either, if we cannot book them a call, eat the most ridiculous hot wings from Buffalo Wild Wings, or we'll take a shot of liquor. There's also the wheel of misfortune where we have to do all of the silly stuff. But the point of all of it is to prove to you guys, you can pick up the phone and call people and get results immediately. And it helps people overcome this phone phobia and being afraid of the phone. People are actually a lot nicer than you think. Have we got hung up on before? Absolutely. Have one or two people been mean to us? Sure. But we're typically, if we get to the right person, booking 50% plus of the people we speak to onto an appointment. And to be fair, we're good at this, but it was just by doing it, right? Most of my calling skills, totally transparently, came from doing that show over the past couple of years. I didn't really do it as much to my agency as I should have, and now I've learned the value of it. And by the way, this is so key. Once you get to a point where you are earning money in the business because you grinded it out, you put ignore my anti-hustle sign, you hustled, you were in your season of hustle, you got money through the door. Now you reinvest back into paid ads and an appointment setter who will do that for you, right? You don't have to pick up the phone and cold call forever. I don't do that anymore. We run paid ads and we pay someone to call those leads for us and qualify them. Like, we don't do that anymore. So the quicker though you secure and it can condense that goal that you have, whatever that goal is by picking up the phone, shortening the sales cycle. Don't wait for them to come to you. Just go talk to people, right? Even now, if it's outside of your group or association, call people, CPAs in your community. Hey, my name's Shakira. I'm local to your community. I'm also a CPA looking to get some feedback on this thing. I know this is a problem people have. Would you be open to that conversation? Again, if you see Alex and I just do a couple of these and those examples I gave you, you'll start to get a feel for it. And
what do you call it? Hot wing hotline and cold
call shot line.
Hot call shot line. Okay, let me. I'm in the group right now.
Stupid names. We're just having fun and
hot wing hotline. Okay.
Cold call shot lines. Yeah, or shot line, not shot lines. So it goes to you too, Leroy. If you want to check that out, you're welcome to.
Okay, and you have a bunch of them. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we've done a lot. Like I said, I got really good on the phone over the last couple of years just doing that. I don't even do it that often. We do them like once every other month, maybe. We kind of slowed down since we had kids, which is, I would love to do. It's funny. I say I love to do them more. The shot line is the fun one. The hot wing hotline, that's not fun. That hurts. That's not fun to eat those wings. But it's funny. It's good content. So if you want to see us in pain, hot wing hotline. If you want to see us drunk, cold call shot line. I can usually hold my liquor pretty good.
Wow.
But to go go ahead, Leroy.
I was just going to ask, where you the paid ads that you run, are those Facebook ads or what type of ads?
Yeah, good question. So we have spent the majority of our ad spend. And by the way, this is for absolute clarity. We're in the extended league community. I run Prospecting on Demand with my business partner. Prospecting on Demand is a coaching business for marketing agencies and SaaSpreneurs. So Beyond, who runs Extendly, has paid Alex and I to come into here. I just want to make it clear like what the business is for. For our coaching business, we run TikTok ads. We spend about $3,000 to $5,000 a month there. And then we have a massive retargeting list over years that we built and a huge email list that we retarget on Facebook to book calls with us. Same strategy, Shakira, I was teaching you guys and Leroy about selling your sales call. We'd have a key agency systems assessment call. And that's what gets agency owners excited to book calls with us, because we sell based on the value of like, hey, come onto this call. We'll give you value, even if we don't work together. And frankly, we don't play the Facebook advertising game except for retargeting, like I said, because the cost in the marketing space to acquire leads is just astronomical. And we acquire most of our clients at this point organically through strategic partnerships. You're seeing one right now. We're doing this not only because we love giving value, but because we get clients from the Extendedly community. They are a referral partner, strategic partner of my company, Alex's company. So we're doing the same exact thing I'm teaching. And a lot of our clients also come from now our speaking gigs. My business partner and I, we also host events 3 times a year. So we've really found our best customers because we focus on agencies doing $20,000 a month and above. They're going to be at events and in communities like this. It's really hard to find those. Those people will come from ads, but you usually have to spend a crap load of money to find those little diamonds in the rough, specifically for this niche. But Leroy, if you're going to go like in the home services niche, that's still a blue ocean where I would still likely run Facebook ads. Almost all of our agency clients also run their own Facebook ads to get leads.
I see.
Cool. And to make that super clear also, like, because again, people like think I turn on ads and people just pay me money, right? Really the key is to run what we call Facebook lead form ads, where someone is going to give you a name, email, phone number inside of Facebook, and they're going to go book a call with you or watch a training and then book a call after the fact. But the idea is you're not waiting for them to book the call on their own or pay you money. You need to have, ideally at this point, you would have a setter working those leads, right? Someone's on the phone, picking up the phone, calling, emailing, texting the people who are opting in to your Facebook ads, not just praying and hoping that people pay us money. That's the pray and hope method, doesn't usually work really ever. So got to really be intentional and aggressive with how you follow up on sales. And tying this all the way back to our conversation, all the way at the beginning of this, Leroy, that is, again, why people get stuck if they do too much fulfillment, is they don't have the time to aggressively follow up with the leads like they have to. So that's kind of where I'm at today, guys. I do have to hop here in just a moment. Any other follow-on questions to talk about? I feel like we covered a lot today. Was this valuable? Leroy, Shakira, you guys get
this is incredible. Yeah.
Cool. Glad. That's what I'm here to do. Appreciate you. We do this every single week, 4 p.m. Thursday, on this same link. So save this on your calendars. Come hang out, and I will continue to keep coaching you guys as much as you need. Okay.
Thank you. The Tuesday call is not. Yes. We don't do that, right, on Tuesday.
I'm not on the Tuesday calls. I believe they have a different call every day of the week for a different topic. This is more like marketing, lead gen, sales.
Okay. Thank you so much, Brian. I appreciate you.
No problem. Sure. Have a good day, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
Want to learn Go High Level in a structured format? Check out the GHLacademy.com by Extendly. We guarantee to save you 6 months of wasted subscription costs for High Level. Just visit the GHLacademy.com.